Hey, what's up? My name is Heike, and in this video, I'm going to talk about how we consistently hit very high show rates on our cold traffic webinars. As you can see right here, 46% as of recently. Okay, 46% show rate, 38% show rate, 37% show rate. So on average, 40+% show rates, which is very high. Okay, and in this video, I'm just going to break down every single part of our pre-webinar process that gets people to actually show up and also close later on. Okay, we're going to talk about the registration page. We're going to talk about the email sequence, about the retargeting ads, the Telegram and WhatsApp nurture, and also the SMS sequence. So pretty much everything that we do pre-webinar. Okay, first of all, some context for what we'll discuss today. Okay, I'm going to assume that the ads are already running and people are already signing up for the webinar. All right, I'm not going to talk about running ads and all of that stuff right now. Okay, at least not the front end ads. Our goal at this stage, okay, they already signed up for the webinar. Our goal at this stage is to do everything humanly possible to sell them on the idea to show up for the webinar. Okay, but also not only to show up, but also to get them to show up pre-framed. Okay, so that the pitch on the webinar performs significantly better. Okay, we're going to talk about that later on. So yeah, this is pretty much where we're here, where we're at. Okay, so they registered. This is going to be like, we're running a 3 to 5 day promo phase. Okay, so over those 3 to 5 days, we're going to nurture them, and then the live webinar happens, and we are right now right here over those 3 to 5 days in the pre-webinar show up systems. Okay, so let's first talk about the first step, which is the very first thing that they're going to see right after signing up for the webinar, which is the registration page. Okay, the registration completed page. Okay, so now since this is the very first thing that they're going to see after signing up for the webinar, you can't just have a lazy registration completed page. Okay, that's not gonna work well for you. So the page that you have to set up has a few different purposes. Okay, but the main one is to give every single person who signs up a clear roadmap. Okay, clarity on what's gonna happen between now, okay, and the webinar. Okay, again, I'm gonna reiterate that you have to give them clarity, okay, on what's gonna happen next, okay, between now that they've signed up and when the webinar happens. Okay, and why. You also have to sell them on the idea of why they have to show up. They have a lot of things they can do, right, on, let's say, a Thursday night. Okay, they can, I don't know, they get back from work, they can do whatever, right? You have to sell them on the idea to leave all of that behind and just focus on showing up to the webinar. Okay, so these are the elements that we use for the registration completed page. Okay, so we're gonna, like, this is like all what we use all the time. Okay, headline, next steps videos, nurturing channels, and then FAQs. That's it. Okay, so the first point is the headline. This can be pretty simple, right? Your spot is confirmed. Here are the next steps. You have to validate what they just did and then also give them clarity on what they should do next. Okay, so pretty simple headline. All right, you don't have to overcomplicate this. And then right below the headline, I also have an example right here. Okay, right below the headline, there is going to be a video. Okay, a short 1 to 2 minute video. And the main goal is to make it clear that you're here right now trying to help them get clarity on the next steps and also explain why they have to show up. Okay, so you literally communicate with them that your goal right now, okay, is to help them get clarity on the next steps and also why they have to show up. All right, so the way you're going to do that, and this is like a pretty simple framework that you can use for those videos right here, you essentially acknowledge their action, which is signing up for their webinar, and also validate it, right? And then you're also being transparent on what your goal is right now. As I said, you want to give them clarity and also tell them why they have to show up to the webinar. And then you're going to explain what you will do, okay, you as a person right now will do between now and the live class on, let's say, Thursday the 27th, whatever it might be, right? You're going to explain that you're going to send them emails, you're going to do this and that and this and that, and also explain why. Okay, don't just say keep an eye on your emails, okay, watch the emails and stuff like that. Explain why. Okay, explain why they have to check out the emails, because it's valuable for them as well. Okay, so frame it that way. And also, you have to obviously also present yourself as the authority they should listen to. All of this stuff, by the way, this should take you a couple of seconds, right? Literally, like, I don't know, like 15 seconds or whatever. And then you present yourself as the authority they should listen to. Remember, we're running cold traffic webinars, but even if you run organic webinars, you always want to show them proof of why they have to listen to you, okay? And then you sell them on your unique mechanism or on the opportunity, okay? And then explain why now is the perfect time for that opportunity or your unique mechanism, okay? And then you do a quick second recap of what they have to do between now and the live class, and then you do an outro. Okay, this is a very simple framework that you can use as it is right here. This is going to leave you with a 1 to 2 minute video, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, headline, next steps, video, and then we're going to have the nurturing channels right below the videos. Okay, so first we are going to have an add the event to your Google Calendar link. this is super important, okay? Because if most people have the calendar right on their homepage when they open the phone, okay, that's why it's super important. If they add the event to their calendar, it's gonna make it less likely that they actually forget about it, okay? So this is very important. And you actually have to, like, you have to set this link up yourself, okay? So I have a template right here. If you want to have this whole like Gamma doc, okay, together with this template that you can use to create your Google link, okay, or add to Google Calendar link. My Instagram is in the description, okay? Just click on it and DM me Nurture, and I'm gonna send you this whole document right here that you can also check out yourself, okay? But yeah, this is basically how you have to set it up. These are the variables, okay? You can just take this whole thing, okay, just copy it and then add your variables right here and tell AI to create your unique link, okay? And then it's gonna take you to the Google Calendar. Pretty simple to set up, okay? From there, we also obviously have a link to the Telegram, okay? So again, we're below the video, like the next step video right here, as you can see. So there's gonna be an add to Google Calendar link right here, and then a join the VIP Telegram group. I'm gonna explain all of that in a second right here. So basically we have that, and then we also have a link to the emails, and then that's pretty much it for the next part. It's a pretty simple registration completed page. And then the last step are the FAQs, okay? You can have text and video FAQs. We just implemented video FAQs, okay? That's not on this example right here, but basically what you want to do is you want to cover the most important questions that your lead have right after signing up that might prevent them from showing up to the webinar, okay? So as an example, if we do a webinar on a micro SaaS info offer, okay, how to build a micro SaaS, which is possible to build with AI nowadays, okay, and they think they can't do it themselves because they can't code, that might prevent them from showing up to the webinar, okay? You have to immediately shift that negative belief, and which is gonna make it more likely that they actually show up, okay? If you shift the belief and explain and justify why it's actually possible to build a micro SaaS business without even coding, okay, it's gonna make it more likely that they actually show up because you're gonna handle that objection or that negative belief, okay? And you have to do that for all of your frequently asked questions or like most important concerns, objections, all of that stuff. You have to handle it on the registration completed page, okay? If you do that, okay, you're gonna be set up with a very, very solid registration completed page. This is what we used for the last one, okay? So as I said, headline, video, date, the nurturing channels, all right, and then the FAQs. As I said, we just implemented the video FAQs, all right? So yeah, that's pretty much the first step, the registration completed page. Now we get to the second step, which is super, super important, okay? The email sequence. We consistently see open rates of 35% to even higher, 40, 50% on our emails that we're sending out pre-webinar, and we're sending 3 emails a day, okay? So this is a very high volume and a very high open rate for the emails, which makes it way more likely that people actually show up. So let me show you how to actually like set up the emails, what to put in those emails and all of that stuff, all right? So first of all, these are not just some random reminders. Don't send them like 5 reminders a day, okay? It's very selfish and it's just gonna annoy people, right? Don't do that. What we like to do is, as I said, we like to send 2 to 3 long form emails a day starting 3 days out, okay? So if you're doing like a 5-day promo phase, you can try 3 to 2, like just try and see like at what frequency the open rates start to decline, and then you can just like decrease the frequency and send less emails a day, okay? But for us, 2 to 3 emails, long form emails perform very well per day, okay? So that's gonna be around 15 to 20 emails in that sequence for a 3 to 5 day promo phase. All right, as I said, I really want to stress this, okay? You don't just want to send them reminders like quick reminder, we're gonna go live tomorrow in 10 hours, 5 hours, 2 hours, please show up, okay? It's desperate, it's selfish. Don't do that. You have to overwhelm your leads with value before the webinar even happens, okay? You have to give them value before the webinar even happens, because if they get value before the webinar, they're gonna think, okay, if this already is super valuable, the webinar has to be even more valuable. I have to show up, okay? Give them value before the webinar, and it's gonna make it more likely that they actually show up to it, okay? Now, value doesn't mean that you just have to give them like step-by-step guides, or you have to give them all of your SOPs, you have to do all of this stuff, okay? You don't have to do that, all right? Value only means belief shift. That's value, okay? When a prospect has a current belief set A, okay, let's say he believes A, okay, now he opens your email, and after reading your email, he now believes in B, okay, so you shifted their beliefs. That's when they feel they just got value from your email, content, whatever it might be, okay? You have to shift their beliefs. That's what value means. which is a super powerful tool if you think about it, and if you use it the right way. Okay, let me explain why that's so powerful. Okay, why this right here, okay, I'm gonna make it bold, why this right here is super powerful and why you can use it to your advantage. Okay, because before the webinar, your registrants are gonna have a set of beliefs that's not necessarily in our favor. Okay, they have solution related objections, mechanism related objections, person related objections, like they have objections about you as a person or as a personal brand. They have industry related objections and more negative beliefs of all sorts. Okay, this is their belief set right now before the webinar, and our main job before the webinar happens is to shift their current belief set into one that's favorable for us and get them to show up to the webinar and convert. Okay, that's our main goal. I'm going to restate it. We have to shift their current belief set into one that's favorable for us and get them to show up to the webinar and convert. Okay, what that means is that you're going to find out all of the objections and all of the negative beliefs that your leads have right now. Okay, you're going to find that based on your sales call transcripts, for example. Just take all of your sales call transcripts, put it into Manus AI or Utari, and you're going to be able to analyze all of the objections, concerns, questions, and all of that stuff, their negative beliefs, right? So you're going to have a list of that, and you're going to use your emails and everything else we're going to cover today to shift those beliefs into a belief set that's favorable for us and get them to show up to the webinar and convert. Okay, that's what you have to do. It may sound like manipulative, but if you think about it, it is a win-win because they feel like they got value from your email, as I said, okay, because you shifted their beliefs, right? You logically shifted their beliefs. They feel like they got value from it, and you have a lead that's more likely to show up. Okay, it's a win-win. I'm gonna make it bold. Okay, that's what you have, like that's the context that you need to understand if you want to create all of those pre-webinar assets that we're going to cover today. So let's start with the pre-webinar email sequence structure. We have to keep this in mind, but yeah, basically the first email is always going to be a confirmation email, but not like a normal confirmation email. It's going to be enhanced. Okay, as you can see right here, this is not your typical you're signed up, do this, do this, do that, do this, do that. Okay, again, do not be selfish. You don't want to be selfish. Okay, you want to give them value. So here's how we structure it instead, and this is what our open rates and click-through rates look like for the first email that we sent out. 15% click rates, 40% open rates. So this is how we structure it. We validate what they like. This is going to have like around 250 to 400 words. We validate what they just did. As I said, they sign up for the free live training. That's how we frame the webinar. And then we have a CTA to add the event to their Google Calendar, like literally the second line, because again, it's super important. Like just go to the description, grab this whole Gamma doc, take this right here, put it into AI and create your unique add to Google Calendar link. All right, so that's going to be the second line. Then we again sell them on the opportunity. We show social proof. We explain what they'll learn on the webinar. So we basically explain why they have to show up, and then we CTA them again to add the event to their Google Calendar. We could also CTA them to join the Telegram. Okay, you can split test that. And then in the PS section, we're first going to tell them that they're going to be next emails. All right, and then we tell them why they should actually care and why they should open those emails. All right, that's what we're going to do in the PS section. And as I said, that's going to leave you with a confirmation email between 250 and 400 words. That's not selfish, but also gives them value. All right, and shifts beliefs. So that's basically the confirmation email. And then the emails 2 to 15/20, depending on how long your promo phases are going to be. Email, like I'm not going to break down how to script out every single email. I have a full course, by the way, that breaks down every single step, even more in depth. You can check that out. It's going to be the first link in the description. But basically, just to give you some ideas, we like to send emails that send them to long form YouTube videos. Why? Okay, we do this very, very frequently, by the way. Okay, we send them to as many YouTube videos as we can. So we shift their beliefs, for example, okay, in the emails, we handle an objection and then we send them to a YouTube video after that as a CTA that handles it even more. Why? First of all, as I said, it's going to handle the objection even better. And second of all, if they consume content of yours, okay, before the webinar even happens, it's going to be way more likely that they actually show up to the webinar, but as I said, also show up already pre-framed and way more nurtured. All right, you're basically going to be able to replicate that organic feel that you don't have with cold traffic when you're running paid ads. As I said, even if you're running organic webinar, this is still going to help you because if they consume a lot of YouTube videos before your webinar, it's going to be way more likely that they show up and close. Okay, that's why we send them to YouTube videos. And if we set them from like one email to one YouTube video, it's going to make it likely that they actually check out your channel and then start binge watching other videos as well, which, as I said, is going to help you replicate that organic feel that you don't have with paid ads. Okay, so we like to send them to YouTube videos. We obviously have social proof emails, so we show them testimonials, for example, story based. We sell them on the opportunity in some emails. We have case studies. We handle specific objections, concerns, and all of that stuff. Each email is going to handle a specific objection. We don't have like one email that handles 10 objections, one email per objection. And then we obviously also send an email that explains exactly what's going to happen on the webinar, all of that stuff, just to give you some ideas of what you can use in your pre-webinar email sequence. Okay, and that's pretty much it. Okay, we covered the registration completed page, the email sequence. Now we get to the next step, which is retargeting ads. Okay, also very important because we're going to be able to force them to consume our content. I'm going to explain that in a sec right here. But as I said, I have this here again. Our main goal is shifting their current belief set into one that's favorable for us and gets them to show up to the webinar and convert. Okay, and this right here is like, obviously this also applies to the retargeting ads and not just to the emails and to everything else that we're going to cover today. This is our main goal, so keep this in mind. Okay, we can do this right here by handling solution related objections, mechanism related objections, person related objections, showing social proof, etc. Okay, we can do that in many different ways. We can shift our current belief set into one that's favorable for us in many different ways. Okay, and all of that makes it more likely that somebody who's registered would actually show up and convert. Okay, so as I said, retargeting ads are one of the best ways to do that because you're pretty much forcing them to watch your content. They might choose not to open your emails, they might choose not to open your Telegram group or all of that stuff, okay, your SMS, but with ads they are gonna see it. Okay, because you basically force it on their feed essentially. All right, and you're gonna have 30 to 50 video ads, okay, that people would get served with a relatively high frequency. Okay, and which this also helps with familiarity bias. Okay, because if they see you more often, okay, if they see you very frequently before the webinar even happens, that helps with familiarity bias, and they're gonna like tend to trust you more, even though they like all they did is just see your face over and over again. Okay, that's gonna help with trusting you as well. But it's also going to shift their current belief set into one that's favorable for us. Okay, as I said, this is very important. I'm gonna I reiterated this like 10 times because it's so important. That's what allows us to get such high show up rates for our cold traffic webinars. Okay, so keep that in mind when you're creating all of this stuff right here. So basically the campaign setup right here, I'm not going to go into how to set up the whole thing, okay, right now live, but what you have to do is basically you have to create a custom audience, all right, with all of your website viewers that actually got to the registration completed URL. Okay, so you're going to create a custom audience with the website viewers of the URL right here of your registration completed page over the last 3 to 5 days or however long you run your webinar promo. Okay, that's what you're going to have. So the audience is basically going to update itself over and over again, okay, with the like newest leads for your newest webinar. And then the second thing that you're going to do is obviously creating the campaign. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to create an engagement campaign, okay, because we're optimizing not like for leads or whatever. They already sign up for to the webinar. We just optimize for engagement. You're going to create one ad set with one of your retargeting ad creatives. Okay, in that ad set you're going to include the newly created custom audience that we just talked about right here. All right, and you're going to exclude people who have watched that one creative that is in that ad set, that have watched it for more than 3 seconds. Okay, so that way they're not going to see the same retargeting ad over and over again. Okay, that's how you set up one of those retargeting ads. You're going to have 30 to 50. This is going to take a lot of time. So you're going to duplicate that asset and do the same thing for all of your creatives, but this is going to be worth it. Okay, and then from there you can run this on a very low spend. Okay, you can run this at like $100 a day. Okay, and it's gonna do its job for you, and it's gonna help you with your show rates. This is an example retargeting ad script. As I said, we try to handle their objections and all of that stuff and shift their beliefs. So this is what we did right here. You can build but can't market. This is like an example of our micro SaaS info offer that we're running. Okay, one objection is that we get a lot of software developers, all right, like just like naturally from this business model, we get a lot of software developers who know how to code, but they have no idea how to actually market their SaaS offer. All right, and that's an objection that we have to handle before the webinar, which is like so that we make it more likely that they actually show up. Okay, so this is an example right here. I talk to a lot of app founders, and there's this pattern I keep seeing. They can build the app, they can ship the app, but nobody actually downloads their app. Okay, and so they just go build another one thinking this next one will be different, or they keep adding features hoping that'll fix it. Okay, this is what they think, and we know that because of our sales call transcripts that we have analyzed beforehand. Okay, so you have to do that as well. And most of the time it won't, not until the marketing gets figured out. Okay, we shift their belief A. Okay, belief A was I have to build a new app, this is not working, or I have to keep adding features to fix the downloads problem. Okay, that's their current belief set A. Now we shift it into no, that's not your problem. Your problem is marketing and conversion. Okay, so my latest app did well over 7 figures in sales last year, and honestly, it was full of bugs when I first launched it. Okay, and the design wasn't impressive at all, but it still worked because I knew exactly how to get it in front of the right people. That's the piece most app founders are missing, marketing. And that's one of the things I'm gonna get into at the free live training this week. See you there. Okay, so this is what it could look like. Okay, you can take inspiration from this. But yeah, basically other topics for other retargeting ads could be testimonials, your results, long form content. You can even chop up your YouTube videos and run those as retargeting ads. Okay, there's a lot of stuff you can do. You can again handle all of the objections. You're gonna have 30 to 50 videos. Okay, so be creative, handle all of the objections that you know that your leads have, and that's gonna help you a lot. Okay, so that's what we covered today. So we covered the registration completed page, email sequences, retargeting ads. Now we get to the Telegram and the WhatsApp setup. Okay, so Telegram or WhatsApp, again, just like with the remarketing campaigns and the emails, Telegram is just another channel we want to layer in, okay, on top of that stuff to get people to consume even more content before the webinar. We want to be everywhere. Okay, we want to be seen everywhere without being annoying. Okay, we want to give them value everywhere we can. All right, and we're gonna use Telegram for that as well. All right, so we are gonna reshape, as I said, I'm gonna I reiterated this like 20 times, reshape the prospect's current belief system in our favor to get them to show up to the webinar and convert. Okay, now when it comes to Telegram, we want to take advantage of the features that Telegram has that emails, for example, don't have. Okay, which is we can send voice memos and videos. Okay, we can add a personal touch essentially and build a connection that way with your prospects, and we want to do that. Okay, so other than that, it's going to be pretty similar to your emails. Okay, the idea of the Telegram messages are going to be super similar to what you have to do in the emails, but it's going to be shorter per message. Okay, because again, obviously that they're going to check it out on their phone. Like, it's obviously not as long as an email. Okay, and you're going to send 1 or 2 messages a day max. Otherwise, they might ignore it. Okay, you could come off as annoying. You don't want to do that. Okay, so you send 1 to 2 messages a day. You try and include videos, voice memos, and all of that stuff. The first message that you're also gonna pin, all right, is this right here. Again, validate what they just did. Pretty similar to the email, but much shorter. So you validate what they just did. You show them the date and CTA them, again, to add the event to their Google Calendar. And you have the link to that. Just grab it in the YouTube description, all right, of this video right here. You're going to have the link to the webinar join room as well right below that, and then a PS section where you send them to one of your long form YouTube videos straight away, okay, to give them value and nurture them and try to get them to binge watch more videos before the webinar, as I explained, because that's going to make it more likely that they show up and close and convert. Okay, and then for the rest of the Telegram messages, you can use videos and voice memos to deliver social proof, sell them on the opportunity, case studies. You can handle specific objections that are super important for you to handle. You can send them to more YouTube videos. You can explain exactly what they're going to learn on the webinar. You can even show them a glimpse of the bonuses they'll get on the webinar. You can even make a video and show them the slideshow that you have created or that we have created for you if you want us to build out your entire webinar funnel completely done for you within the next 14 days. There's going to be a link in the YouTube description of this video. It's going to be the second link. But yeah, just check that out. But yeah, basically you can also make a video of your slideshow. So you basically take out your phone, okay, you film yourself, and then you flip the camera, show the slideshow, and then just skip through some slides and build anticipation for the webinar that way as well. Okay, so you can do that too. And that's pretty much it for the Telegram group nurture. Okay, it's pretty simple. Well, once you just have to understand how you have to use it, and then from there it's going to be pretty simple to get this going. And then the last step is the SMS sequence. Pretty simple. Okay, do not overdo this. People tend to unsubscribe faster from SMS lists. I mean, I hate SMS messages if they actually overdo it. If I sign up for like one webinar, for example, okay, and they actually send me good SMS messages that are actually like valuable, or at least like just like 1 or 2 reminders, that's cool. Okay, that's not gonna make me unsubscribe from the list personally. But if you like send them 10 reminders, that's not gonna help you. Okay, so what you want to do with the SMS is send them an automated confirmation text Plus, again, send them to a YouTube video, okay? Get them to watch a YouTube video, give them value straight away through the SMS messages as well, and prime them to open the next ones too, okay? And then you're also gonna send a 1 day out reminder, plus maybe send them to another YouTube video if you like. You can send them a day off reminder, a 5-minute out reminder, and that's pretty much it. You can also have a bonus right here. This helps a lot actually. 25 minutes into the webinar, or like 15 minutes, whatever it might be, you could also send an SMS, which is basically, we're live right now and getting into the valuable part of the training, okay? Jump in, obviously not like word for word, but this is the idea. And this helps get like squeeze out the last few people as well and get them to show up too, okay? Maybe they didn't see the first reminders or whatever it might be. You can implement this as well. Pretty powerful, okay? And this right here is an example SMS. The software we use for SMS is Simple Texting. Super solid software. I'm not affiliated with them or whatever, okay? But we just use it because it's good. So this is what we send out. This is I think this is like the 1 day out reminder. Yeah, exactly. Hey, first name here. Real quick, the free live class you sign up for is tomorrow, Thursday at 7 p.m. EST. In the meantime, check out this interview I did with a very, very popular channel, okay, that the viewers actually know. That's why they might click on it, and that's why it's not selfish to send them to that, okay, because they might just like, maybe they even saw it themselves, okay, because it got like 1.2 million views. But yeah, we sent them to that video, and then reply stop, and I won't be able to text again, okay? That's what we do with the SMS, and that's pretty much all of the stuff that we do to get people to show up to our webinars, okay? Again, registration completed page, email sequence, retargeting ads, Telegram, and WhatsApp, and then the SMS sequence that we just covered. I have a full YouTube course, okay, breaking down our entire webinar funnel strategy. It's a 2-hour full guide. It's going to be the link in the video description. You can check that out to see exactly how we run our webinars. We've done multiple 6 figures running webinars alone, 7 figures in total running, like selling high ticket info and coaching. And also, if you want us to launch your entire webinar funnel, as I said, completely done for you within the next 14 days, you're going to run your live webinar in 14 days from now, okay? You can go right here, okay? It's going to be the second link in the YouTube description of this video. It's going to take you to a page with our video that explains exactly how our offer works. And then from there, you can either book in or not, okay? It's up to you. But yeah, that's it for this video. I appreciate you watching it. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.